looks like we're live streamed and we're being recorded live. No music today, so welcome to the Intervision FM broadcast. I'm Alan C. And got music. Anyway, we like music and we start it this way a lot. That is who we love, and that is who we serve, ladies and gentlemen.
How dare you?
We dare every day of the week and twice on Sundays.
This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown. I tell you, this business is on. My man is on. Check him out. This is the Godfather, Soul James Brown saying stay with it and hit it.
Well, okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, are we now live and in person and all that kind of stuff? And how are you doing now, Greta? How you doing? Huh?
How dare you?
Okay, that's how she's doing. She's never in a good mood. I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I think she needs some medication or maybe a different diet, but she's just never in a good mood. Right?
Hey, we're in a good mood, ladies and gentlemen, at the Intervision FM universe. You're not going to want to miss today's podcast. We've got sponsors by the name of Christian Brothers Moving Company in the state of Colorado right here, Englewood. Phoenix, Arizona, also in Texas. You're not going to want to also forget when you are looking for somebody to help you. You're going to want somebody trustworthy. Don't forget that we're also sponsored by Denver Venue, Colorado Art Relief Fund, and there is one other. And I did want to mention them, Eeny Meeny Grant. They were recently just added. And wow, we got a lot going on at the Intervision FM universe. Good morning, Latabo, all the way from South Africa. How are you today?
Yes. Huh. Yeah, you have to unmute your mic.
And we got Johnnie J in the house. He is
Yeah.
president and station manager of Intervision FM. Don't forget, there's a school that he started, and it's, well, we like to help those that are physically disabled, financially challenged, grassroots musicians, recording artists, folks
Yes.
like that get their stuff promoted and sent out there into the airwaves, as it were, and onto the internet.
Yeah. And I added something. I'm adding something to it. When they get to the point where they're making phone calls to generate like sponsors for the show, Intervision will pay the like $13 for the first hour of that. So they're making a little bit of commission on the first hour, and then then they go into the next hour, making commissions and stuff like that. So we added that to it, and I got to thank this counselor named Linda, because I thought she maybe she pushed me a little bit to think more about, because I had it in my head, but she just wanted to see it on paper.
It's interesting being a small business owner, the things that we just don't think of. Sometimes we don't even consider them as things that are important for other people to know about. But through God's grace, it is given to us to know. As a matter of fact, I was out of commission for a long time. It's amazing how much you get to depend upon the 21st century. But that modem came in yesterday evening, so I'm back in the saddle again once I get this hooked up. So speaking of the school and vocational rehabilitation and things like this, why it's important to know that there are steps if you choose to go that route. Anyhow, we help veterans. We help those that are physically disabled, financially challenged, or both, or all three. We love to help folks. That's just the bottom line. We want to be transparent. When we talk about helping folks, that's lifting them out of poverty. 96, 99, 66, 70, all these weird numbers. When you look at them and you see that they're not numbers at all, but they're people. And that's unemployment figures for the disabled community, depending on which ones you look at. It's important to realize if it was you, the able-bodied citizen that had a 66% unemployment rate, there wouldn't be much in the way of happiness. And that brings us to a different story entirely. That's inflation. It's worldwide. It's not on the topics list, but it does plague us all. But there is hope. That hope is found in, lots of places in the Bible, but we're in Colossians chapter 3 all week. And we're focusing in on, there's lots of love in that chapter.
Oh, yes.
But we're focusing in on that whole chapter. So check it out for yourself if you like.
And it's in the subject line. You can read it for yourself. I put it in the as in the subject line of I see. Does Rumble support it? I think Rumble does support it. D Live, I'm not sure if it's supported. Twitch, I'm not sure if it might not support it, but I know Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and LinkedIn, they support it. So yeah. So
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You just mentioned 7 places where we are live right now on or being recorded and then redistributed. Wow. We are in a lot of places, also on the smart speaker Live 365 at KINV-DB, Intervision FM. I believe that is up and running. It's interesting. I don't know. Have you ever tried it, Johnny?
But it only picks up my voice for some reason, and it won't pick up your voice, even though you're running through the system. And I haven't been able to figure out how to. And they have this thing now, which I haven't tried it yet. They said you can take incoming calls, but I haven't. I haven't delved into that for Live 365 yet. So it's almost like it'll be like a one-sided conference unless I figure out how to rig your voice into a mixer and then bring it out of the mixer. The way I'm doing it now with the headsets is just not letting the other people hear the other side.
Well, I'm not all that important anyway. Now, Johnnie J, he wrote a book called 6 Shades of Blindness. He's got a movie that he made back in 1991 called Even Me. And he's looking to recreate that. So if you yourself happen to be a aspiring recording artist, musician, in front of the camera, behind the camera, talent, this kind of thing, you've done this kind of thing before and you just want to get your feet wet again, help us out at www.intervisionfm. I'm sorry, info@intervisionfm is our email. Intervision FM is where you find all of the content. Where are we
Definitely.
here, Johnny? Where do you want to
and
start?
I guess. Okay, I'm gonna tell you the topics. Okay, it's like okay, it's a the first one is the title of our show is called "Is It Wrong for Mirror Eric Adams to Walk by Faith?" Okay, that's one topic. Then we have a topic: Can you be a Jewish rabbi rapper? Okay, you have that one. Then we have this one. What would make a 31-year-old lady take her 78-year-old grandmother's credit card and rack up to $1,800 worth of food and other charges?
My,
Yes, and then I got a few personal stories about how things like that happened to me. So we have those on topic, and then we have to keep the family in prayer. Even though this regime of Biden is not caring about the borderline, and since they're trying to replace the 63 million babies that have been killed with abortion by bringing in illegals, so they can say, give them free gifts and tell them, hey, now you're beholden to us. We got you in this country. We can rescind you, send you back, or you become, voters in the Democratic Party and vote for us. And some will, and some will not. But we had 4 people from North Carolina who went down to get help to support a friend getting either butt enhancement or something like that, because it's cheaper in Mexico. And they went to an area where, I guess down there they said it's dangerous to go through this area, and the cartel took them for Haitians trying to cut in on their territory. And 2 of them are dead, and 2 of them are still alive. And so now it's a diplomatical problem with America and Mexico, because of them letting their drug cartel, who's totally corrupted the government because they have oodles of money, because we put them in that position. Not we, but the Democrats put them in that position, and Rhino Republicans, to make a lot of money off of trafficking, sex trafficking, and just getting people from one place to another across our border illegally. So there's consequences to your bad voting habits, ladies and gentlemen.
yeah, there are consequences all the way around. When you stop a framework that has been in place for thousands of years, where everybody agreed upon this particular framework, whether you believed in it or not, everybody agreed upon it. Once that has been systematically removed worldwide, you have this problem. And I would imagine that it's not going to get any better quickly, but there is hope. And that hope is in that salvation message, because in that salvation message is found a relationship not with religion, which we have freedom of in this country, but we also have freedom from. But it's a relationship. We're not free from relationships, whether we have friends here or the magical friend in the sky, as it were. Because some people believe that that's just all that it is, and it's so much more, obviously, but you don't know until you find out. So to many people, it is just a magical friend in the sky, and there's been a lot of wounds because people are not careful and peaceful, and choose to walk where at all possible with the shoes of the preparation of the gospel of peace. That's found later in this book of Colossians, but it's a really good book. I mean, the whole thing's good, but Colossians is especially good because it talks about that armor, which we need.
So pray for that family, and hopefully, we don't know what would make this administration wake up, and change its direction. Maybe after they're out for 16 or more years, like this happened when Jimmy Carter was there, and then Reagan stepped up to the plate, and then there was Republican reign for 12 years, and then Bush Sr. made the mistake to lie like a politician and say, "Read my lips, no new taxes," and then he taxed people. So
Well, we're going to get taxed some more later. We're going to
yes,
get taxed some more here in just a very short few. As a matter of fact, worldwide, we're going to have for the first ever a 15-20% tax on all of our goods going in, coming out. And that's going to be, something that everybody pays, except there are ways to get around it. And there are those that will know about those ways and those that will not. Those of us that are not on the inside, why we're going to get taxed almost to death.
Yeah. And I was just looking at the story yesterday. They were saying like, okay, the middle class income is $125,000.
Wow.
Now, so that means if you make like 80,000 a year or even 100,000 a year, you're still considered to be low income. That's just wild.
Well, see, we come from a place where 80 or 100,000 was a month.
No, a year.
I'm sorry, 80, 100,000 a year was considered rich. That was considered upper middle class. Now it's got to be 80,000 a month before you even considered anything, because literally it costs so much just to live. Now, that is worldwide, I would say. And so, and we've got folks from other countries that can attest to this. Within their own economic structure, things shift and fluctuate, and they don't make a lot of sense why this is going on. But it is being sped up and accelerated at a furious rate.
Yeah, and even if you made like $50,000 a year, you could even, expect to pay for a car, because like these electric cars, I think they start out as 60,000.
Yes,
so we'll be on one of those 9-year plans trying to pay that off.
It's interesting because the rent, the electric vehicles, the places to charge them, the internet service that you need, because you need it now because it's not a luxury anymore. The staying in touch and connected with folks, meaning this app costs this much, this service costs this much, this thing over here costs. Pretty soon, what is going to have happen is you're going to be spending $2,000 to $3,000 a month just to live. And that's just the incidentals that you need just to be able to live.
Oh, yeah, sorry about that. I just have to check to see if my light was on.
Speaking of keeping the lights on, paypal.me/Univision Denver is the best way you can help us for now. PayPal doesn't really love free speech, but I guess we haven't gotten strike yet. Thank God. We live in a free society. We live in a free country, and it's not free anymore, folks. Wake up, wise up, and learn, study the history. Remember where we came from, good and bad, because there is bad, but we have to remember all of it.
And I just got through boosting, and I wish there was another source I could boost my stuff on. Supposedly boosting it, I'm getting about 2,000 or 1,000 people a day seeing our contests, our program, our radio station. So I put it out there on Eventbrite as a weekly event, and until the end of April, I think. I think I don't remember. It was doing so many things before yesterday's show, and then I boosted it on Facebook for up until the 21st because they wanted $52 to do it for 30 days. I said, I'm not going to go there. I'm just going to do 30. So, it costs to get the word out because these companies found out that, well, hey, you want to get your word out? Well, it's going to cost you. And so they get you addicted first, right? Sharing pictures and stuff like that. And then you go on the business side and say, oh, I can get my word out. And sometimes I wonder if you're really getting your word out.
That is funny. So that's why you folks are on the ground floor of this. Like, we want to be transparent because we're not here to help us. We're here to help everybody else. We wouldn't do this because we want to do this. This is more a situation where there's 10 million of the blind. We want to touch the lives of as many as we can. And that's just all there is. And then in that way and by that way, we can touch other lives.
And encourage them and pump them up and say, you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because mentors are what is needed. We need mentors, folks that have done it before, folks that say, you know what, I haven't done it before, but I will. I'm not going to let anything like a modem get in the way. If it takes 10 minutes or 10 hours or 10 days, I'm going to get this stuff in the basket and sent because I promised. And it doesn't matter what the goal is. Never give up, never yield, never give in, never stop, never break, never surrender to any sort of circumstance that gets in the way. Right. That's all there is.
All right. Now, I guess we better, I guess, come into some of these topics. And I'm thinking, like, which one is more? I mean, I like the Eric one, but I want to Okay, I want to talk about this Jewish rapper, man, because this rabbi who's a rapper. Now, this is an interesting story. I heard him on this radio show, and then found out he's located here, and they have a church on Saturdays that they have twice once the first of the week, and then first Saturday, and then the third Saturday, and so this guy, he was a young guy, teenager, and of course, his friends, for some reason, they were rejecting, and this happens in a lot of generations. They reject their parents' religion or circumstance, and he was more like secular and stuff like that. And then the mother and father, they started going to a church and were picking him, and then he said, well, I don't want to go. And when he got to be about 16, so the mother, she threatened to take away his car keys and say, if you don't want to go, then you're not going to drive. And then he said, oh, okay, I'll go. And then so when he got there, he dressed very gangster, sagging pants and all that kind of stuff, and thought like, they're going to kick me out. They're going to take one look at me and they're going to kick me out. But the rabbi came up and gave him a big bear hug and said, hey, you're home. You're part of the family. That's right. And that changes his heart just over. That just changed his heart. And then he just started, bucking down in the schoolwork and working and studying and stuff like that. But he decided he didn't necessarily want to become a doctor, lawyer, or whatever. He wanted to find something that was going to really fulfill himself. So, eventually he became a rabbi, but then he said, but I want to do something more because not even this. So he started doing hip hop. And wow. It says, so he's wearing this Jewish, almost like a traditional Jewish garb, and then he breaks out with the hip hop. It's very good, very good. His name, let me get you his name. It's called Rabbi Motte. Rabbi Motte. And yeah. And so check out some of his stuff because it's really high quality. And he just tells like the old Jewish the stories in the Old Testament and just puts it in hip hop form.
Yeah. So. Wow. That is really cool. You also promote other folks. There was this one that was done a while back. that you use a lot. It's called, what is it? Broken Chains?
Oh yeah, Broken Chains. The song Exodus and the song Addicted are the ones that we're pushing out there now. And now that I let them know that Sirius XM will pay $140 per spin if they play your music.
Yeah.
He says, I'm ready to make some new stuff. I say, well,
Right.
get on it.
Right. So we can help you with that, folks. Hit us
Yeah.
up at info@intervisionfm.com and give us an email. Let us know you're interested. You'll be automatically notified of future topics as well.
Yeah. Hey, as our friend here, Labu, have you ever had like in your country like a Muslim rapper or something like that they would tell like the Quran story in hip hop?
Well, to answer that, no, I haven't heard about that.
It hasn't. Well,
No.
not yet, because I hadn't heard about this. If I hadn't heard that radio show, I wouldn't have known. So it might be out there, but you know,
Yeah.
you never know.
Because, well, if I heard something like that, I would rather let me say, like, I would rather, like, okay, maybe interview that person on the show.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get him on the show. I'm trying to get him on the show. So I sent out
Yeah.
a message. I called the phone machine and then I
Yeah.
emailed him because we got to have this guy on. I mean, he's a very interesting guy, and Alan, we're gonna have to jump in there because this guy, the interviewer, she was just quiet because it's just like so we have to jump in there. So
We aim to please, so we can do that.
yeah. Now before we get to Mayor Adams, walking by faith, I want to talk about this 31-year-old lady, and this is terrible. I know there's people out there that they say, well, how can I get money? And I used to know this lady that she was an alcoholic and she pawned our Intervision equipment to get drinks. Yeah, to get some drinks. And then she wanted us to go get the instruments out of the pawn shop. And maybe I should have, but I just said, wait a minute, you pawned it, you get it out.
Pawned it. You got to go get it, and you owe us restitution.
Yeah. And then, but anyway, it is what it is. So this 31-year-old lady, I mean, she's not a teenager, whatever, she should know better. Was hanging out with her grandmother, and she said, oh, she has credit cards here. So from November 2022 to February, she started calling, what's that called? Uber Eats. Yeah, Uber Eats is one of them. And then she racked up a really big bill of like $1,800. I mean, it was pretty
I'll
big.
tell you, I like food delivered. Sometimes it's convenient, but at that point it becomes gold-plated food.
Yeah, yes. And then when the cops, they caught up with her, of course they arrested her. And do you know what they set her bail at?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they set it at about a million. Well, I think they said like a couple of $1 million is her bail. So she's not leaving anytime soon.
Well, at least they didn't set it at nothing. That's
yeah.
important foundational thing that people are using nowadays. They want to do this no cash bail. So at least that wasn't observed in this case.
Yeah. Now I got some stories, and maybe you guys have some stories too. Let's see. I used to help out people that were down in I mean, I still do it in a way, but I don't use my home anymore to do this.
Yes.
But I used to know this one lady. I met her at the club, and she would go up and down, and she's in and out of jail. So one time she came in with a girlfriend, and this is always a big sign. Whenever one person is quiet, and then the other person is not, you sort of like that other person is there to be the lookout. So she pretended like she wanted to go to the bathroom, right? And she wanted to borrow $10. So I said, "Oh, okay, here's $10. You know, if you wanted to borrow more, I would have give you more." But but in my house, since I don't think about this, on my dresser in my room, I had $20 laid out there, right? Because I didn't think that, this is, is this there, And since this person, I had known this person for a while, so while she pretended to go to the bathroom, and then she opened the door, and I could hear it. And I'm standing in the kitchen, just getting me some juice or whatever. And she goes in the room, and then she goes back in the bathroom and acts like she was all the time in the bathroom. So then she took the 20, gave me a hug, said, "Hey, thank you, Johnny," and all that kind of
Okay,
stuff. And
bye.
and so she had the 20 and the 10, and then the other girl who didn't say anything, because like I said, she was the lookout. And then from that point on, I when she would try to buzz up, I would say, "No, I'll meet you downstairs."
Now, what do you do when you bust somebody cold and they got a lookout and you get the drop on the lookout as well?
Well, in that case, I figured I'll let them get outside the door. And since it wasn't a lot of them, because I know exactly what I laid out on the table, I said $30. Okay, you got me that time. And then eventually, let's see, how many years later? Oh, man, I think it was 7 years later or something. She got into this drug treatment thing, and then she called and she apologized.
Yeah. You know what's messed up, man, is when somebody comes up 20 years later and they're like, "I blah, 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 blah. Remember?" I'm like, you know what? No, I don't sit up at night thinking about thinking, "Wait, what? You did what?" And they're like, "Yeah, and I'm really sorry. Can you forgive me?" I'm like, I guess. Why not?
Now, remember, are you old enough to have, because like I said, I've known women for like 20 years ago come back and apologize for stuff they did when we were like 19 and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had people?
Goodness.
Have you had people come back to you and say, "I'm sorry, I did this, maybe 10, maybe 7, years ago," and they just want to apologize? Not yet.
Well, no, not really. And I want to also bring up this topic. I don't know if you guys have heard about our cabinet reshuffle that happened last night as well. Yeah, so let me bring my phone up so that I can read the names. Because yesterday there were like many names that were reshuffled yesterday, and yeah, so let me just check. Where's the document, because they've sent it here, but it seems like it's
But there was like an election?
No, there was what you call this now? There was a what you call this now? There was oh yeah, there was a not an election per se, but there was some sort of what you call this?
Like a nomination sort of thing, where you're putting up names.
Yeah, so okay, I just got the document right now on my phone. So yeah, like there was a big expectation on a lot of stuff that happened, because the changes that were made, they were quite huge. So yeah, so I'm just looking for the names that will be.
So like changes in the laws or changes in?
No, actually, the what you call, like in the government space, especially when it comes to the ministers, because the what you call, this one that was expected was the Minister of Electricity. So
I see. There were administrational changes which you were looking for as a people.
Yes. So
yeah, that's good. Well, see, God's moving everywhere. In fact, So that's a good thing. And he wants a relationship with all of us, not a religion.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's always a good thing.
yeah. Let
Yeah.
me read the what you call the names of the ministers that are
Okay.
appointed. Yeah. Minister in the presidency, which is Miss Kumbutso Nchabeni.
Right.
Okay, and then the minister in the presidency responsible for women and youth and persons with disability is Miss Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, and then the other one is who's let me just check. Oh, it's Maropeni. Maropeni. I can't really
Mhm.
mention the name correctly, but yeah. And then the surname is Ramokgopa, yeah. And then there's this other one, which people were gunning for, which is the Minister of Electricity, which is Koshi N2 Ramokgopa, which is the person that was nominated last night for when it comes to the electricity issue, and for communications and digital technologies was Mondli Ngungubele, and then for Kokta it was Tembi Nkadimeng, and then for what's the other one? Public service and administration, it was Nokolo Kivit, and then for public works and infrastructure, it was Sihle Zigalala, and for sports, arts and culture, it was Zizi Kotwa, and then for tourism, it was Patricia DeLille, and for transport, it was Cindy Siwe Chikunga, but I won't go through the deputy
Yeah.
ministers because
So
like there were
tell
too
me
many.
about this. Like, so is this
Sure.
like for like okay, so you have a countrywide, and then you have like a local, like maybe these guys are over like maybe 1 million, 5 million people, right? Or is it a
Yeah.
smaller? They're over a smaller group of people.
Well, they're a large amount of people because, like as you say, because
Yeah, that's quite a large
yeah,
amount
Oh, okay. So
because
like,
they're under
Yeah.
multiple provinces.
provinces, yeah, because like we have 9 provinces. As you all know,
oh,
so
okay. So
yeah, so we have
several
9
million.
provinces. Yeah, so
So it's
yeah,
very fascinating.
yeah,
So basically, to shorten this up, basically you've got these
sure,
folks, and there's a few of them that are fighting for what appears to be what the people want and things like this.
yeah,
So, they
sure,
are at least getting involved at the local, state, and federal level as it exists in your community. And folks, there's never been a better time, especially those of us in the United States of America who have that foundational birthright to be able to get involved at the local, state, and federal levels to help to shape our government, whatever it be. Currently, we have a constitutional republic, and we do forget that a lot here in the United States. So it is important to remember our history.
Oh,
Where are
let
we
me
at,
read.
Johnny?
Yeah, let me read the Bill of Rights here. Let me read let's see. Okay, so okay, Congress will make okay, Congress will make no law respecting an establishment of a religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. So a few days ago, this guy, Mayor Eric Adams, started, it was a breakfast, I believe it was, and he started saying that, when it was prayer in school, we didn't have a lot of this craziness going on in school, when the Bible was still in the school, and the Bible got taken out of school 1960, October 17th, 1963 by Marilyn Murray O'Hara, which she brought a suit against the public school system
Right.
And so it went to the Supreme Court, and then they just really messed it up. Uh, and then from there on, no Bibles in the schools, no religious anything in the school.
That's 60 years, folks. That's 60 years with no word of God in the schools.
Right. And just a lot of crazy, because the guy who was one of her sons, she had a younger son, then she had an older son. He became a Christian because he looked at what her law did and said, he just saw the whole lifestyle as just not being right. And the younger son was maybe a mama's boy, whatever, and he just followed along. And then her granddaughter did too, and didn't end up too well for her in the end. But and it's not ending up too well for us that we've taken, the Bible and those things out of the school, because maybe the kid might get moral training on Sundays at home, or then maybe again he wouldn't. But if you're hitting it at all points where they're getting it at home, they're getting it at school, along with you start up with presentations to the flag. You might read a Bible verse. You might a story that would be relatable to what's happening, and believe me, the Proverbs are very relatable. As Abu said yesterday, you read. Was it you or was it Gentleman Grace that read that scripture yesterday? But we do need like a spiritual base, because our country was born on a Judeo Christian level, and I know now certain people got in there and taken over, and now they want to make it more secular and make it more the government and men be the God rather than God being the God. And so I just bring this. So they were really upset that Eric would say that that these children needs a moral backup or fiber, and that and maybe they should bring prayer and the Bible back to the schools. And so it was a really controversial thing that when Eric, the mayor, said this, and preachers, which I was kind of surprised. I can understand, like if you do Muslims or whatever, but preachers were Democratic preachers, which tells you a lot about these Democratic preachers. They were upset that he walks by faith, not by sight, and he says his decisions are made off of his Christianity, not off of just being a politician.
It's interesting because Christianity itself used to stand for virtue, used to stand for values, used to stand for the high ground. And everybody could agree on all of the values set forth. And now these values are even being questioned. So, hang on to the things that that are true. Have a relationship with this entity that created everything. And don't worry about the religion. The religious folks will take care of that themselves. But we do have to get involved at the local, state, and federal levels, wherever we are. And literally start taking control of where we're at with regard to our governments all over the world.
Yes. So hey, we want to thank everybody for joining us today. Tomorrow is International Girl and Woman's Day.
It is.
So, yeah, so usually they, in America we have Mother's Day, but this day is for sisters, daughters, wives. If you're a woman, but if you're a Democrat and you know what a woman is, never mind. But and it's not for trans women.
No, they got their stuff too. They got their stuff, so it's cool.
Yeah, they
no,
got
this
their
is
stuff
for the ones that hold the power of creation, the ones that have the ability to bring life into this world.
Yes. So tomorrow we're going to do a little bit on that, and like the history of that, because I didn't hear about it until I went to Europe, and then I said I didn't know there was a Woman's Day. but apparently is, and believe me, if your woman's from Europe, she will not let you forget that she wants a special day on
That's
that day.
That's right.
So anyway, so we'll be celebrating that tomorrow and talking a little bit about that and some other topics as well. So share, like, subscribe to the show, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yes.
All right. God bless you guys.